We're checking in here. I Asked No One, episode 43, and you're calling in from where, Jimmy?
Encino, California.
Encino, California. All right. So we got Jimmy Booster Robles. I said that correctly, right?
Correct.
Former guitar tech for Dino Cazares and Static X. Honored, and thank you so much for your time, my man.
No worries, man. No worries at all.
At the top of every episode, I'd like to have a little cheers. And well, cheers to you, and thanks so much for joining again. And as much as an episode.
Hold on 1 second, man. I got a little something waiting right there for you. So I got my little shot waiting for you, and I got my little if I can get it in here, let's see if it doesn't go away. My little salacious crumb shot, but it's all good. But I got it right here with you, dude. I'll take a shot,
Killer.
with you, brother.
Cheers, man. Thanks, and cheers to Wayne Static, R.I.P.
Watch it go.
Dude, that's my first swig of alcohol since my surgery 2 days ago.
Wow, man.
I'm in a little bit of a pain right now. I had foot surgery, and I've been taking pain pills, except for today. I wanted to be alive for you today, so I'm in a little bit of pain. I'm gonna hang in there, though.
No worries, man. I know how it is. I'm no stranger to that.
Right. Well, hey, dude. By the way, I love the backdrop. Are you actually in a cemetery right now, or what's going on there?
Nah, I just did it because it's kind of like, hey, man, cemetery gates, Pantera. Kind of a cool backdrop. I was gonna do something Iron Maiden-y and everything, but this is like my kids' office. My kids' room / office. So it's kind of a bunch of stuff everywhere. So I'd rather just have a backdrop.
Nice. That's just beautiful, man. I love it. Yeah. Gates! Philip Anselmo. But dude, I like to start off the top of every episode, of course, with the cheers and today in music. So today is February the 5th. It's Friday. We're going to be going live with this episode tomorrow, the 6th. But it was today in 1971 that Black Sabbath began recording their Master of Reality studio record, their third studio record. How do you like that record? Any songs that jump out that you like, that the guys like in Static X?
Masterpiece from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dude, can you think about that down tuning, how just doomy that album was? Totally. I mean, it still stands the test of the time to this day.
Yeah.
It totally does. It totally stands the test of time.
I agree.
It's Sabbath. It's nothing's heavier. But that record, jeez, man, Master Reality, got it.
Yeah, it's got.
Everybody says "Children of the Grave." Of course, that's the most classic song on the record. But After Forever, Supernaut, there's an endless amount of everything on that.
Yeah.
I can't pick a single track that I can point out that I love so much, because that record from beginning to end is just crushing.
It's doomy. It's the purple and black. Opeth covered Solitude once, and I still say Solitude is my most listened to song off that record, believe it or not. But there's a birthday today too. Duff McKagen, bassist of Guns N' Roses. Duff is turning 57 today. So happy birthday to Duff.
Happy birthday, Duff.
He's my favorite gunner from Guns N' Roses. We could get into that, but he's definitely gonna be a future guest on this show, hopefully.
Awesome, man. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
You've met him before? Or?
No, I know. I've never had a chance to meet anybody in the GNR crew or the band, but I mean, I've heard some nice things about those guys. So, but it's like we also heard Nightmares back then, but it's like that's just here, there, and they. But all I know is that they're pretty cool dudes. We get a chance.
Do you listen to Sirius XM radio by chance?
Every now and then, yeah, I try to get a chance. When I was commuting before this whole crazy COVID thing, yeah, I was listening to it like crazy all the time. Liquid Metal, I listen to Ozzy's Boneyard and so forth. But every day on my commute, it was just both of those. And then, I know I listen to usually Jose Mangan's show.
Yep.
And he's a really cool dude. I got a chance to meet him a couple of times. He's good friends with Dino.
Killer. Yeah, Jose Mangan, he will be appearing on the show in the next few months. So when he's
such a nice dude. When I met him, I forgot what gig I met him at, but I think it was actually I know it was out at the observatory. I'm just trying to remember the gig, but man, he was just way chill and he's just so down to earth. You can talk to him about anything. He's just a really nice, cool guy. I mean, he's a good and positive ambassador of metal, as they call him. I think he's really positive.
He definitely is. Yeah, for my viewers who don't know who Jose Mangan is, he's a DJ for Liquid Metal, a Sirius XM radio, and he's just a big personality. He's actually trademarked metal ambassador, and
Yeah.
I like to wave the flag of that kind of thing. What I'm doing here, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, totally, man.
Yeah, but on the Boneyard, Duff McKagen, he has the 3 Chords of the Truth show, and he plays music like rock and roll music that he really likes. I love that shit. But as much of an episode, this is going to be about you and what you've done in your career, which I'm so interested to hear about. This I'd like to be a tribute to the almighty Wayne Static, the lead singer, guitarist of Static X, who passed away 5 or 6 years ago or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was a big shocker to everybody, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't too close with Wayne at the time. When in his passing, there's just a lot of things going on in his life, and he was very distant from a lot of people. So after I left working with the band, I didn't get a chance to see him very much. Maybe every now and then at a show I'll say hi to him and everything, but it was just rare that we could get a chance to catch up.
Yeah, got it. I love to learn when you were with the band and how that experience was. I mean, I got the O2 Machine jersey on right now.
Nice.
I bought one for me and my twin brother, and
excellent. That's awesome.
Actually, we saw Static X in London, Ontario a few summers ago, and we were side stage for the entire set, and they signed this guitar for us. And
oh, awesome, man.
Wrote it out to Kevin and Ryan. Zero's right there, Koichi, Ken, and Tony. This is usually right behind my Chucky and Riddler dolls, right behind here. Every single episode I got the guitar back, and it's
right on, man. It's nice.
Tribute to good old Wayne Static, man.
Nice.
I had to show you that. But how did you first get into music, man? I mean, what started it for you?
I can say is my neighbors in my hometown of San Pedro, California.
Okay.
When I was about, I moved into this neighborhood, kind of like an old neighborhood in Pedro. And across the street was like this house of a really nice family, 4 brothers. The oldest brother, just totally blasting Ozzy Osbourne, Led Zeppelin, hear it every day, and didn't think much of it. I would hear him play it. Then the older I got, and the more I started getting interest in like I would walk by and I'd hear him blasting all these tunes, and then I'd start asking him. He's my buddy. His name is Raul Mejia. He's like a brother to me. We still talk to this day. And we're very close. And he's the one that turned me on to a lot of cool things, man. A lot of cool music. I mean, he got me into Metallica when I was a kid. I always loved Metallica. Everybody always will. They hold a special place in my heart, no matter what. Even if there's some stuff I disagree with or anything they put out, still, I love them for who they are and what they do. And it's just their form of expression of everything.
Integrity. Yep, totally.
Yeah. So, he got me into that, and then it just kind of just spread like wildfire. But he was, my buddy Raul was kind of like really the hardcore scene. He was into like Venom, Slayer, Nuclear Assault, all this underground stuff back, really underground thrash, MOD, Hyrax. I mean, tons and tons of bands. What is it? Excel, Violence, awesome bands. And he was just playing all this stuff. And I used to go and borrow records from him. Just like, and I would just go home, play them, make tapes, come back, and then I started discovering new things on my own, and then other new bands, and then it just became a lifestyle after that.
Yeah, that's what it is for us metalheads. It's we love all sorts of music, but it is absolutely a lifestyle. Was your first concert with Raul? Where'd you guys go hit up for your first concerts ever? And was this back in like the 80s, or when was this?
First national concert, or like first like local buddies concert, like, what I mean? Like when you're a kid. Yeah,
I'd say your first
national
was a Kiss. Was it, Zeppelin?
Oh, my first national was Metallica at Irvine Meadows in '88 for a Damaged Justice tour with Faith No More and COC opening. And that was just awesome. And that was COC with I think the singer. This is during the Blind tour, so it's like that second singer only did that one record, and then they fired him, and then ever since then it's been oh geez, Pepper Keenan and the original bass player. I know, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's awesome. But yeah, dude, that was a awesome concert. I was a kid. I had to beg my dad to let me go. I was like, what, 14?
Yeah.
And I had to beg and beg, and he was like, he wouldn't let me go with Raul because Raul just, drank a shit ton and all that stuff, and everything. It was crazy. And he's like, no, 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 no. And he's like, and then I finally convinced him to let him go with my friend David, who was like everybody knows in town. My friend David was like our barber, like, but it turns out David is a little bit crazier than Raul. So, it was funny that night, just him goofing around. But I was just in love with that show. It was awesome. It was such a awesome production. It was mind blowing. Like, even seeing like, when you see Through the Never, the video, and they brought up the new, like that stage with Doris and everything, but seeing the original stage set up with Doris in the background, how it collapses and everything, and just how cool it was is just amazing.
God, I bet. Were you on the floor for that? Were you up there in the stands? How old were you?
I was in kind of in Loge. I was in Loge area. I wasn't too far off. I had pretty darn good seats where you can kind of make out the expressions of their faces and everything. It was decent enough, but not, just enough. And to me, it was mind blowing. I was just really blown away from it. It was so much fun.
That's crazy, man. My twin brother Ryan, he's coming in from Greece in a few weeks. We're turning 33 March the 2nd. So that makes us, of course, we were born in '88. So while we were busy being born, you were seeing, Metallica in Irvine Meadows. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. I still have the ticket stub. I still have all my ticket stubs from all my concerts, man. If I showed you, it would just be like a wall full. It's kind of like our buddy Mikey, Mike Lane, and Mikey has tons of ticket stub. He's got the bug too. He loves shows.
He definitely loves shows. I think more than anyone I've ever met. We're here with Jimmy Booster Robles, former guitar tech, Static X, and Dino Cazares here. And Mike Lane, previous guest of mine, one of my best friends ever. Mike Lane, one of the most metal motherfuckers that I possibly know. He connected me with you. So, yeah, what's your relationship like with Mike? When did you guys meet? You're from Pedro. I didn't know that. I knew you guys from the same area, but
same area. We grew up in the same town. Actually, I've known Mikey's family since the 3rd grade.
Wow.
His older brother Sean was like one of my closest friends when I moved into that particular area. And then we started, as we were playing in the schoolyard, Sean was like, "Hey, this is my little brother Mikey." And Mikey was I've known Mikey since he was 4. So
yeah.
it's like, I mean, and seeing now he's a grown man, it just blows me away that we've known each other for like mostly our whole lives. So
he's still acting the same like he was when he was 4, or what?
Oh yeah, Mikey's still Mikey. He's always going to be Mikey. He's a good guy.
Yeah, we originally got connected through a Doritos commercial for the Super Bowl, and fellow drummer here, and that's just the coolest, man. But how did you get into this business? I mean, I know I've tried. I mean, I'm 33. Through my 20s and living in California, I was trying to get in. My best thing was I would just get in line early, show up, and see what would happen after the show, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I become a merch guy or something like that. But you're an actual guitar tech for traveling bands. I mean, how'd you get hooked up with something like that, Jimmy?
When I started learning how to play guitar, I was like, maybe 15, 16. I started picking up an instrument and starting to learn. And then me being a natural tinker, I love taking things apart, working on stuff. Everything I own, I have to modify. My car can't look the same. I mean, I build anything, I have to modify it. It has to be like, to my liking, so I set up the guitar to my liking, and I just started messing around with it. I didn't even know how to really set up a guitar properly. I just did it on my own, just the way I wanted the guitar to play, to how it was comfortable for me. So it was just kind of, hit and miss, experiment, screw up this, screw up that. But back then we had no internet. That didn't exist. So, it's just figuring it all at your own. It's just trying to read up on whatever you could.
Yeah, so no YouTube.
Yeah, no YouTube, no nothing. So it just total trial and error. But as I got older, I started learning more and more about, like the craft of working on guitars, and, just doing a little bit of guitar work here and there, learning how basic wire schematics of it. And a friend of mine who gave me the influence, that his name is Frank Medina. And at one point, he owned a music shop out in Bellflower, California, named Angel City Music. And he was a former guitar tech for like numerous bands out there. He actually set up guitars for Kerry King back in the day.
No
Like
shit.
a long time ago, though. I mean, like when Slayer was like really like way back in the day. So
Back in the Slayer makeup days, probably.
yeah, probably like the Show No Mercy, like, when they were really underground, he was helping him out back then. But Frank, since he owned this little shop, he would give us tickets to NAMM show every year. So we used to go to the NAMM show, and this is in the 90s. I started going there since 91. And we couldn't believe it. It was so amazing to us because, here I am, I'm like 15 years old, 15, 16. Actually, no, it was 16, 17 around there. I think I'm bad with the numbers. Anyway, sorry about that. But it's just awesome. You got to meet all the artists directly. You got to talk to them.
NAMM, for my viewers, if you could just describe NAMM, what is that and where it's held?
It's a big convention where they debut all the new musical equipment, like everything across the board, every genre, every new tech, instrument, anything. NAMM will have it to show you. It's kind of like the E3 of music.
Yeah. Or what's the Comic-Con, right? Like a Comic-Con.
Yeah. NAMM's huge. It's been around. I mean, for forever. It's awesome. It's too bad it couldn't happen this year. We're all missing it.
Right.
And over the years, just to jump forward a little quick, over the years, as the years progressed, I started, getting to know, seeing the same people at NAMM every year. So eventually, one day I ran into Johnny Tempesta, who is formerly of Exodus, and he's now the drummer of the Cult. He's been with them for quite some time. He was with White Zombie, Testament, Exodus, quite a few bands, dozens and dozens of album credits. This guy's, he's a beast. He's an awesome drummer. I wound up, eventually becoming friends with him, just running into it. NAMM, hey, how you doing, Johnny? And eventually, I ran into him another time at NAMM, and then he had his brother with him, which is Mikey Tempesta. Mikey Tempesta is the A&R representative for Fender Jackson. Also, he's a former guitar player for Human Waste Project and Powerman 5000.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I ran into Mike, saw him a couple of times, at NAMM, talked to him. And I kind of didn't know that was, was Johnny Tempesta's brother. We were just shooting the shit and talking about equipment. Really cool dude, he knew his stuff. And, of course, I didn't know this at the time, but, it's like, but I learned this after knowing Mike, Mike was Jerry Control's guitar tech for Alice in Chains during the Facelift tour.
Oh,
cool. I mean, Mike knew everybody. I mean, Mike had connections to everybody through his brother, because, the Tempesta brothers grew up with, Anthrax and all those guys back in New York. They know everybody. But after a while, when I think about a year later, a year or so later, I ran into the guys over and over. It must have been, I'd say probably around 97, 98. I ran into Mike that year and with his brother, and this time it was cool when I ran into him. Johnny was there. They remember, they go, hey, because at the time I have these weird nicknames. Everybody called me Alien Jim. I have a grip of alien tattoos. That's another story for another time. But they kind of knew me as that before I got the name Booster. So they go, hey, it's Alien Jim guy. What's up, man? We talked for a little bit, and then I was shooting the shit with Mike, and then Mike mentioned something like, hey, man, do you know of like a guitar tech or anything like that? Because I think he was looking for something like that. And he goes, oh, I got a couple of gigs coming up and so forth. I think I met up with him at the Dragonfly, and I didn't get a chance to do a show with him. I think that, he just told me to come up and check it out. So it was like, some big show they had at the Dragonfly back then. And then after that, I think he asked again, he's like, hey, I think we have a small tour coming up. Do you know of a tech or anybody? I go, you know what? I said, I'll try it. I knew guitars and everything. I asked him, I go, I'll tech for you. I'm cheap. I'll just learn, whatever you want. So, and there and then I literally went from, working at the time I was working retail at a comic book shop in Torrance, California. And Mikey has a lot to do with this. I remember because, you know, I got the offer from them to go on tour for just 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks on the road, to check it out. And I was kind of apprehensive at the time. I was young, you know, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to lose this job, blah, blah, blah. And Mikey just goes, take it. You never know. He just really, really says, dude, come on, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Just try it. And I'm glad I did, because the next week I was my first tour. I was we were like main support for Life of Agony on the East Coast.
Killer. All of a sudden you're doing that. Jeez.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, and it was so awesome. It was a lot of learning though, man. It's not easy, you know, it's not easy at all. You know, I mean, a lot of bit, like, you know, a lot of learning.
A lot of fucking up, a lot of, you know, making a fool of yourself, learning from your mistakes. I mean, were there tons of mistakes? Some mistakes, you know, that were just over your own feet. Do you still have nightmares with some of those mistakes that you made back then, or you always kept in mind going forward?
No, not really. Sometimes I have good laughs about it. You know, I'll have a good laugh about how things certainly happened and everything, you know, so, but there has been some crazy times, but you know what? Even though those times are crazy, the good times really outweighed all those, you know?
Yeah. And with Life of Agony, you're out there on the East Coast, you're traveling on a bus. Was this summertime or wintertime or?
Actually, we were actually traveling in an RV. And what's crazy is with the band, Human Waste Project consisted of Amy Echo, who is the singer of The Start, and her husband, who's Jamie Miller of Snot fame, the drummer. And he's now the current drummer for Bad Religion. And then Scott Ellis, who is a drummer of Human Waste Project. I'm not familiar too much with the bands that Scott's in now, though. But and then it was Jeff Shartoff, who started Human Waste Project with Amy Echo back then, and he's been in dozens of other projects, Professional Murder Music, and Peter Murphy, you know, for Peter Murphy too, is bass player, session bass player, and also live bass player.
Wow.
So I was traveling with these guys, and we literally hauled ass from LA straight to Portland, Maine in 3.5 days, taking shifts driving.
No way,
just straight. Just straight. And I mean, like, you know, I wasn't familiar with anything, but, you know, funny moment is one of the best times, you know, first thing when we got there, when I woke up in the morning, Scott, I think he, like, you know, I'm getting out, you know, I'm just barely waking up. I still have shorts on. I have no idea how cold it was. We were just there. So I looked at Scott and I'm like, hey, is it cold outside? I have to grab something from the thing. And I'm like, I just have my shorts, flip-flops, socks, whatever, you know, just something simple, because I just got up, you know, from my sleeping bag on the, you know, the way everything is laid out, man, it was crazy. But anyways, he's like, sure. I opened the door, and before I did, like, you know, before I can close the door, he just pushes me out and slams the door and locks it. And it's like 5 degrees outside, and I'm standing out my boxers, you know, in a t-shirt, screaming, trying to get back in because it was so horribly cold. So I guess that was a little hazing point, you know, hazing that he gave me, but it was funny.
Yeah, and you're sharing bunks with these guys. I mean, what are some of the similarities and differences from, you know, when you're touring with these bands? You guys it's one team, one family, and you could almost feel like you're part of the band, right?
Pretty much, yes. Everything has to be kind of a well-oiled machine, man. If somebody screws up, it kind of holds back the entire team. I've done that before. I've screwed up plenty. I paid the price for it. Everybody's done that. But, you know, if you know what you're doing and you know your role for the stage, you know, and you know your job, just everything just usually works flawlessly. But you have to be prepared for anything, though. Anything that can go wrong on stage will go wrong. You know, you just never know.
Right. What are some of your biggest pet peeves on the bus or on the RV, or some of the things that you see in load in, load out? What are the things that just irked you when you're traveling with these bands and teching for these bands?
Impatient, like other techs that are impatient, that want to get their gear, like, you know, they just want to just get their line up as quick as possible. They don't care how they get it. They'll run over your gear. That's like a big no-no. You know, you never do that. You know, you have to respect. If you're like one of the openers, it's got to wait your turn until they're ready for you for the stage. You just got to wait it out. There's some bands that just take forever and a day to sound check. Sometimes you're not even gonna get a sound check. But if you're cool with the crew, you get to know, you talk to some of the tour managers or whatever, you being like a local band, you get to know somebody's, just heck, you never know. They'll be like, oh yeah, let me mix you real quick. And they'll mix your sound for you just to be cool and help you out, because you're doing a show up and throw up. You only got like, you just get there, just get your stuff up, get up there, jam, do your thing, and then you're off stage. And they because everything, the time clock on stage, we have a strict clock. We have to keep by it because there's a curfew.
Always been interested in that, always. And like bands go up, I see the clock on the side of the stage, but are there in-ears where someone's like, hey, we got 5 minutes? Or if you go past, like I've heard of bands getting, the curfew, and they go past the curfew, they get fined. And there's some bands that don't give a fuck, they keep playing. Like, how does that work when because you're just so in the moment, you're in front of fans and everything.
It depends the venue and in the location, and the state, everything. They have their different sound ordinances wherever you go. So you have like certain venues, you have to, they can't go over a certain amount of decibels, or or they get fined for it. And that's because our sound engineer made it too loud. But, it's really, really weird. But never really had to deal with that too much on my end. Mainly our front of house guys or our side fill guys will be handling all that stuff. But going back to that question, if we had something in ears, with Static we had in ears, and it was a pretty tight set. Like they all played their own instruments. The only thing they would run in the background is a small DAT for sound effect. No guitar tracks. All the guitar tracks were all them. No tracks. Sorry. All the guitars were all live, bass, drums, everything. But all the little electronic sounds, all little voices and everything, that's just all running on a DAT. But that keeps the whole band in time. The way they have it, it's everything. You even hear it running as like a metronome, which is really cool. So it keeps everybody on their toes.
That's actually really refreshing to hear, because there's so many bands these days, and maybe even back then, or maybe more so these days, that play to that backing track. I check blabbermouth.net all the time, and you got Chris Jericho and Sebastian Bach going back and forth, just pretty funny about backing tracks. But yeah, so they played their own guitars, their own music. That's awesome. You mentioned Static X, one of my all-time favorite bands. Again, we're here with Jimmy Booster Robles, former guitar tech for Static X, and Dino Cazares, my man. How'd you get hooked up with Static X and those guys? Because you were just getting into the business in 98, 99. Wisconsin Death Trip, their first record, dropped in 99. How'd that come about?
Kind of like, well, I like on my first tour, which the first 2 weeks, that 3-week tour, I learned a lot. I learned a lot what not to do. So, it's like when another tour came up, Mikey took me out on tour again with them, but this time they really had no label support or anything. I did the tour for free because I love these guys and I just wanted to help them out. So we basically did the whole tour, just living off of per diems and selling merch most of the time. I think that was halfway during that tour. We had to do that at one point to keep the tour going, because I think they had a deal with Hollywood and they were dropped at the time, somewhere mid-tour. It kind of sucked. But anyways, just hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to think this all out, because I have so much timelines and so many things to remember at the same time. So this might be
I know.
Do you mind? So is it cool?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. No, I just kind of spaced. I'm just trying to remember, because I can sit here talking your ear off for like 2 hours about all this stuff, But after I did that tour
and that whole experience.
Yeah. So, I learned to build up a reputation for myself. And I used to frequent shows in Hollywood all the time. I used to go hang out at the Whiskey, the Rainbow, check out new bands. There's all the new acts that were popping up at the time in, the late 90s and stuff. And there was, System of a Down was taking off at the time in the early 90s back then. They were just getting huge. At the time when I knew Static, they weren't Static X. They were Static. There was no X at them. So for a long time, and then eventually I think they had to add the X to their name for some legal reason. I don't know too much about that detail, but they used to be just called plain Static. I have a couple of their demo CDs too from back in the day. But I used to run into friends, them all the time at shows. They would open up for Snot. They would open up for, System of a Down. They would, I'd see them playing that. They're just great. They're awesome. So much energy, and eventually I became friends with Tony Campos, bass player. I run into him every now and then, and we talk and just shoot the crap, because I would tech for some people at some gigs, I'd help out some bands, like whenever they needed, like, locally, be it like it could have been Mikey Dooling from Snot with his other band, or, or my friends would come to town. I'd just go to any show I could, and hang out with everybody and just got to know people. And then, long story short is I didn't get, when Tony brought me in with them. I mean, he asked me that one of their guitarists who was replacing Koichi after Koichi left briefly. They needed a tech for somebody, a spare tech for stage left. And I was like, cool, I'll do it. I'll jump in on it. So, that was a good time. It was like, I just helped them out, did stage left for them and tech for that. And then did a European tour with them, and it was awesome. Awesome. And then we were main support for KoYan on the Euro tour.
Shit.
That was really, really cool. Yeah.
Overseas with KoYan opening, and you're opening for KoYan with Static. Those guys must have been thrilled to be doing that overseas, right? I mean, geez.
Oh yeah, it was a really awesome experience. We had an awesome tour manager. His name's Bruce Reiter. I'm still friends with him to this day. Friends with a lot of the entire crew. All those guys are great people. Their whole road crew was the best, and a lot of people don't know their names, but I'll even say it, like, it's Bruce Reiter, their front of house. We got Eric Dinkleman, who is their basically their go-to guy, gopher. He does everything for the band. He's their runner. I mean, this guy gets everything done in the background. Then we had Jeff Mays, who was the guitar tech, and then Johnny B, who was the drum tech. That guy was killer too. And then me as a stage left guy helping out. And then Eric Evick, their sound guy. That guy is awesome. I love that dude. He was one of the sweetest guys. And then we had our lighting dude, Dave Leonard, who was one of the other coolest dudes. But that was a solid crew and a great bunch of people, man. I have nothing but mad respect for those guys. They were a great team to work with.
By the way, love your shirt, man. Just shout out to your shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Reich. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a huge Sacred Reich fan. I mean, I got into them way back in the day. I'm like, when I heard Surf Nicaragua, it was like, and then, and then I went and bought, then I think Surf Nicaragua came out. I grabbed that, and then I went and grabbed Ignorance, and and then around that time, I think a little bit after, that's when they released American Way. After that.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm not too familiar with the band. I know I got to check out that Nicaragua record. That's one of my overdue ones, and I'm diehard, as you know, Metallica fan. Jason Newsted, he used to really rep the Sacred Reich and the Justice Tour and so on. So, yeah, shout out to
I love Jason Newsted, man. That guy is pure metal to the core.
Oh,
I wish he would perform more, and I wish he'd bring, his little project that he had. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It had this total punky Motorhead feel to it too, which was awesome.
Yep. He's going to be a future guest. He's my goal for this year too, and I've had some conversations.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, oh man, I just love it. He's my spirit animal. And by the way, I asked him what the key to happiness was or is for him, and without flinching, he told me, Kevin, repel. And he said, read, eat, play, exercise, laugh, love. And he went into each word, and that's actually my license plate on my car right now is Repel with 2 L's. So Jason Newsted,
awesome,
love it.
That's rad, man.
Had to share that. But going back to Static, opening for KoYan, man, overseas, like, did you shoot the shit with JD at all? Jonathan Davis, lead singer of KoYan, how was he during that time?
You know what? I only got a chance to talk to JD a couple of times in that, because they're doing all this press stuff, and like literally, I mean, their production was huge. I think this was to take a look at the Mirror European tour. I think right now, and they had a huge production. I think they had like 3 or 4 semis and like a tour bus for each member. Basically, it was just crazy. But I got to talk to Jonathan finally when we were in Paris. We were outside eating, and then we were just talking away. And then we were talking about video games, and we knew some people in the past, together. Like my friend Amy Echo is actually the person that gave him one of his eyebrow piercings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's very good friends with them back in the day. They all used to hang out in the early 90s, everything, and really good, cool friends. And I think they all talk to each other every now and then. I'm pretty sure of it. But he was telling me about that. He was collaborating with Ubisoft, and he was working on doing some video game stuff and so forth. And then we were just probably talking about 5-10 minutes. He was really down to earth. He's always been a sweet guy. He's very humble, calm, just I like how soft spoken he is. He's kind of one of those dudes that just, he's just, you get a good vibe from him. He's a really nice dude. So, but I mainly on that tour mostly hung out with Monkey's crew and and him himself. Monkey was really, really cool. James is a funny guy. That guy was just cracking me up. He was just really, really a blast to be around.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. Met him a few times. He came into the restaurant I was working at in LA. I used to work at Hotel Bel Air at Wolfgang Puck, and
Oh, okay.
it was his family came in for Mother's Day, and we had a nice little chat. But how was Wayne during this time? I mean, I'm sure he was thrilled as fuck to be touring with KoYan overseas. And were there anything like, did you guys have inside jokes on the road? Did you guys?
Oh man, yeah. Well, as awesome as that tour was, like there was some like pretty crazy moments I can say that were problems with our bus.
Yeah.
Our bus, like our first tour bus, we missed out on I think the Download Festival because our tour bus, I think the transmission blew and we were stuck somewhere in Germany for a couple of days. So finally, we got to do we got another vehicle to take us to do the next gig. And I think this gig was with, it was a festival and it was Linkin Park as headliner. And I think it was a Nürburgring Ring. So we're one of the openers, like the earliest though. So it was like Static X. I think it was Static X. It was a weird festival too, because it's like you had like, I think Soil would pop on, then after that, Avril Lavigne, just pop bands and just everything was just so different. It was just crazy, but it was such an awesome festival. I mean, seeing how like it was just a sea of people and it was rad, so that show was awesome. It was a really good time. But the funny part of that is that's the day that we met Chester. And I'm pretty sure Mikey showed you that picture that I took of Chester and Wayne together. I took that when we were kind of stranded there. We already finished our set. The day has been over. Linkin Park was about to go on, and Chester comes walking through the dressing rooms. The dressing room area, because everybody has like separate rooms and everything, but you can walk into this main area where everybody's kind of hanging out, watching TV or having snacks, kind of like the backstage, kind of just lounge area.
Sure.
And he comes walking up, and they're chatting away, and I got a chance to talk to Chester a little bit, and he was such a nice guy, man. That dude was a sweetheart. Total nice dude, telling me about like his businesses and like how he has like I got a shop here, tattoo shop here. He was just telling me all the stuff he's doing. It was really nice. He's a really humble dude. And we only did two more shows after that with Linkin Park. We ran into him after that, I think in Lisbon, Portugal, and I think it was France after that. To be honest with you, I don't know for sure or not. Can't remember, but anyways, before I get sidetracked on that and go off on another story and get myself lost like I usually do.
It's exciting stuff, man. I feel you.
So anyways, our second bus shows up after we're literally the last band there. They're tearing down the entire friggin' concert. They're already dismantling everything, all the tents. And this is probably about 3 or 4 in the morning, and our replacement bus finally gets there. So we get our gear in the small little trailer, and this bus looked old, man. It had the most hideous interior. Oh God, it was awful. Just think about if Mardi Gras and Rio just threw up inside of this bus. It was the most hideous purples and greens. I mean, like, oh, it was nasty. It was nasty. It looked like the Black Death. It was a double-decker POS.
Oh my God.
So we were all so tired. We just finally got the stuff in the bus, and then as we're, I guess, I don't know, the next morning, all I remember is the last thing is we get on the bus, we pass out. The next morning we wake up, we're not even outside of Nürburgring. That bus breaks down.
Replacement
we're
goes
still
down.
stuck there. Yeah, it goes down again. Something wrong with the trailer. So we got that fixed. We eventually, got it going. Man, that bus was a nightmare. But the funny thing about that bus is I'll never forget that all of us were asleep in our bunks. And as I think we were driving through Spain at the time, and our bus driver, this guy named Paul, this dude was a funny little British guy. Guy's hilarious, and I'll never forget this. And my bunk was on driver's side, upper, I'd say back, like the furthest back. And then Wayne's is over here on, like, say like Wayne's is over here, rest of the road crew, Tony, so forth. And I remember as this bus, I kind of woke up, I was kind of in a daze and looking up, and everybody's napping because we're just trying to get to the next show. And all we know is, like, as our bus gets to the top of this hill, it just dies. It gets quiet. And I'm like, oh. And then you feel the bus coasting. Everybody's asleep. And all of a sudden you hear our bus driver yell like, "Hey, everybody, brace up, laddies." And dude, he like, apparently I think the engine blew in the bus. He had to coast down a hill, and he only had one shot in the air brakes to stop the bus. So he just went full force down this hill on a double-decker bus, cranked it, dude, and the bus literally almost got up on two wheels. Everybody, you see junk and everybody flying out of this side of the bus.
Oh shit!
It was crazy, but he wound up skidding us into a parking spot perfectly, kind of like that Ace Ventura moment, like a glove.
Yeah,
I mean, we all lived through, but you never felt a when you're at the top of a double-decker bus and it's hauling ass down a hill, that it does this as you're trying, pulling G's. It was absolutely crazy. So we're stuck out in the Spanish countryside, I'd say probably for about a good day or so.
And when that was all going down,
got another bus to show. It was kind of funny, man. But the inside joke is Tony and I were like, because it was a Shadow Zone tour. And I'd just be like, dude, I'm like, it's so ghetto, man. All these things that keep happening to us. And then Tony's like, yeah, it's like the ghetto zone. So we just kind of laugh like ghetto zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was some funny times, man. I mean, like, a lot of great times in that tour.
When that bus thing was happening, I mean, was Wayne letting out any F-bombs? Was he a snorer?
Everybody was more or less like tripping out. No, Wayne is always calm, man. That's what I loved about Wayne. He's always just so chill. During the time I worked with him, he was just really relaxed. You could talk to him about anything, and he's just so mellow and easygoing. I mean, I know, we all know what he went through towards, the end of his life. But when I knew him, he was a really different person. He was really an amazing guy to hang out with and talk to. And he loved his fans. He loved just talking to people. And his favorite things, he'd always talk about it. He loved off-roading. He'd talk about his trucks all the time, and we talk about RC cars, a little bit. I was into RC cars big back then, but not as much as I am now. But he used to have a little rock crawler that, when you get in truck stops, he used to throw his little rock crawler outside the bus or wherever, and try to like run over, like little random boulders in a parking lot and stuff, just messing around, and goofing around. He was just, anyways, we were all just more or less like tripping out. Like, dude, what the hell happened? Then our bus driver told us, and that's when it all sunk in. Like, dude, we all could have died. We could have all, like, if that bus would have tipped, as cheap as that bus was, because most of those double deckers, they have a steel frame, but it's all fiberglass.
Yeah. Jesus.
Like those European ones, and I was like, oh my god, it kind of freaked. All of us were all freaking out. But we made the best of it. We just waited around for the other bus. We're just thankful because that bus driver, I'll tell you one thing, man. Paul doing that though, like pulling off that maneuver, that was nuts.
Dude, you talk about that story, I think of Cliff Burton, what would happen in September of '86.
Yeah. Oh man.
Insane, yeah. Man. I was going to ask you what your craziest tour memory is, and that's got to be number one, right? I mean, that's got to be just
well, not craziest. No. Like, you asked me, I think you asked me, like, if I ever had fun in NOLA. Yeah, I did. It was like, I was on the Jaeger tour with Drowning Pool, Cold Chamber, El Nino, and 40 Below Summer. And I was on that entire tour. And at that time, I was teching for Cold Chamber. I was Meegs guitar tech and Nadia's guitar tech. I'm still
what year was that?
Friends with those guys.
2000, 2001 with Dave Williams?
I think so. No, this one is 2000. Yeah, 2001, 2002, or around that time. That they didn't, unfortunately, like, we hadn't, like, I guess Meegs and I had a disagreement on that tour, and I'm just to be honest with you, I quit. And you know what though, we talked about him. He's my bro. I love that guy to death. So it's like, he's playing in Gemini Syndrome now. We're close as ever. But at the time, I think the band was battling a lot of their own inner demons and what they're going through on the road and everything. So they're kind of unstable. So I'm pretty sure you heard the infamous story of when they kind of broke up in Lubbock, Texas. Like how they where Des told them like this is the last show. I was there, but at that time I was working with 40 Below Summer, and I just went ahead and just stayed on the tour working for them because they needed an extra tech, and that they're just gracious enough to bring me on. Because pretty much when you quit on the road, there's no way for you to get home. You're staying there. You either have, if you get fired, then you get your bus to get home. But if you quit, no, you did it on your own recognizance, man. It's like you got to hoof it wherever, you got to make your own arrangements for that, so that's
right.
That's how it works.
Yeah. And that's, you were with Cold Chamber then, with Des Farfara. I'm actually going to be having his drummer, Austin, coming on, and I asked no one next month.
Nice, man.
It'd be pretty sweet.
Des is a cool dude. It was a lot of fun to talk to you on tour and everything, but they were, I was like, we had kind of like a separate bus with the crew. So, as most bands, that was the same thing with Static X. Static X had a crew bus and they had a band bus. The band bus was smaller. That's one thing I loved about Wayne is they took very good care of us as best as they could with whatever they did. Wayne took his best care of all of us. And I love that. He treated us all with a lot of respect and just, it was great, man. He was one of the greatest people to work for, man. Really, really cool dude to work for.
You mentioned New Orleans, NOLA. What happened there?
Okay, yeah. I think it was, we trashed the stage. I got pictures of it. When Drowning Pool came on during Bodies, everybody just went nuts. But they used to have this little window that yay big overlooking the stage at the House of Blues in downtown New Orleans. It's a small stage. It's a very tiny, tiny House of Blues. So the way it's set up is the stage is, I'd say this, right in front of you. It goes back probably 2,000 capacity, small little venue. But behind that is probably a stage, one of the smallest stages, probably no bigger than, a little bit bigger than the Whiskey stage, where you had to cram all these bands in there and everything. And then right above that is the dressing rooms where you can look at the bands playing. So as El Nino's playing, 40 Below Summer finishes, we're upstairs and El Nino goes on. And we're like, dude, this is the last day. So we see some of the guys just tossing cold cuts and bologna out this window, as Dave Chivari's playing drums, and he's like slamming the skins and just getting like bits of tomato and food everywhere. We're throwing all this stuff out the window at the band, just screwing around with them, throwing, like drinks, everything. And we kept doing that throughout the night, just kind of messing with. When Drowning Pool came out, this is with Dave Williams, the original singer, before he passed away. When they came out and during Bodies, we all got a bunch of blow up dolls and threw them out on stage. We covered the band in shaving cream and cornflakes and then like silly string, and everybody just was just parading out on stage. We duct taped we had these three actors, Joey and Johnny. They've been in a lot of series. They're like kind of like these guys that were like announcers on the Jaeger tour, stage announcers. How do I be politically correct about somebody who's a midget, like vertically challenged, or
sure,
okay. So two vertically challenged guys, Johnny and Joey. These guys are the sweetest dudes. These guys, we wrapped these guys in trash bags and duct tape and brooms and made them on stage look like these alien things. We took so many pictures, man. But after that night, when it was all said and done, man, I think that complete stage, they had to replace all the carpet, all the floor monitors, everything was just trashed. We just destroyed that stage.
I never thought
that was a fun night, but just because I've never experienced destroying a stage like that. That was a lot of fun.
Blow up dolls and cornflakes and shaving cream. Let the bodies hit the
Yeah, it was kind of funny, man. I guess the one thing though, it kind of sucked for them is they didn't realize when the idiots who grabbed the shaving cream grabbed friggin' Barbasol and covered them. You know how horrible that stuff is on your eyes? It's like putting menthol in your eyes. So yeah, really? It was pretty bad watching those poor.
Oh.
Most of that, so while they're playing the song, I think the band members couldn't even see because they were blinded with like a shaving cream in their face.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, man. with Static, you were with them for the Machine tour, the Shadow Zone, well, the Ghetto Zone rather.
Shadow Zone, man. I like.
Yeah.
Start Award. I was I was gonna start working with them, and then I started working. With, I think, Dino at the time. I was working with his other projects, helping him out when he's doing Divine Heresy. I was teching with him a lot.
Got it.
And then another thing is how I got involved with Dino, and is through Tony. Tony's like, hey, we have a side project, another side project, Asesino. He's like, do you want to tech for us and hang, and for me and Dino? So I went down there, learned Dino's rig, and then I met Dino numerous times in the past. So we've kind of, I didn't know him too well, but but we would just say what's up to each other. Hey, how you doing? Then we became friends after I started working for him. To me, he's one of the greatest people I've worked for. Really cool dude.
Dino? Yeah, he seems like a really nice dude.
Really solid guy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he is. He's really solid guy.
Nice. You've been on some pretty badass tours in your day. Is there one or two tours that you thought was just, KoYan sounded like it was very professional overseas with all the trucks and everything, you got Static opening and a few of these other ones that you mentioned. Were there any other tours that you've been on that it was just like, wow, wow, I'm on this tour doing this, and it's just, you're not in an RV anymore, you're traveling around the country and the world,
It was that. I think it was that tour in Europe. Yeah. I did a lot of U.S. tours and been back and forth. But when we started doing the tours in Europe, it was just seeing how everything, the festivals are over in Europe and how everything is over there. I wish we had that kind of enthusiasm, like some of those guys do, like Wacken. We have festivals like that. We need that type of, something out here like that. Hopefully one day, like a good American metal festival, just like they have their Euro festival. We invite all metal bands from all over the world to be here. That would be insanely awesome. To have our own version of Wacken.
Dude, yeah, Danny Wimmer Presents. They put on, the Aftershock and Rock on the Range in Columbus. I've been to a few times, but do you miss it? When during this past year with COVID and all this bullshit, this crazy ass year, are you going to go back to touring when it comes time? Are you done with that? Or what are you up to these days?
I'm done. Unfortunately, I miss it, but I'm 48 now. You can't be on the road forever. It takes a toll on the body. I have a son. He's 13. I just decided to stay home and watch him grow up and provide for him, So unfortunately, I wish I can go back. But, I'll still help my friends out. If Dino ever needs help with anything, I'm always there for him. He always hits me up. Hey, I need help with this computer thing or whatever, or it's my bro, I always help the guy out. Whenever he has a local show, if shows come back and he wants me to do a local show for him, I'll totally do that for him. But pretty much I retired from it after, when I, my last tour was in, I think 2009 with Asesino and the guys down in Mexico. And that was an amazing tour, touring all through Mexico with those guys. And it was just so neat seeing all these awesome countrysides and just meeting cool people and seeing because believe it or not, I'm Mexican. So I don't look it, but I am. So it's like, I seeing where my, my ancestors came from and seeing all these beautiful towns and, going with the guys from, guys from Asesino, my buddy Tony, we all had a great time down there. It was awesome. It's like, we're a tight crew. It was really a lot of fun traveling with those guys.
You ever been to Hong Kong and Tijuana?
Oh, well, Tijuana, yes. No Hong Kong. Haven't been out there.
All right. Yeah, just checking. But that must have been a really badass way to go out, in Mexico with your people and with Dino's people and everything. You have a son. What's his name?
His name's Eric. He's 13. Yeah, he's a good kid. He's actually taller than you. It's mind blowing. It's crazy, man. You really get a perception of how time is once you have a kid, because when you see them grow and they get taller, then you're like, oh man, I'm old.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Eric is 13. Last week I interviewed Kevin Martin from Candlebox, lead singer, co-founder of Candlebox, and his son that day was just turning 13. So that's pretty ironic.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah. So your son's a teenager. What kind of music is he listening to now these days? You guys play together at all? You jam out or?
My son is actually a lefty, which is awesome. He's a total Iomi. So I bought him a lefty guitar. So I'm trying to teach him it. He's getting it little by little, but I'm just trying to get him into the music that I listen to. He kind of has his own taste, which is really cool. He's discovered a lot of music on his own. He likes He discovered a lot of like, Eagles, like in total classic rock, 80s music, and certain things. He discovered it all on his own. I'm like quite impressed that his tastes are pretty eclectic, but he has good taste, in some of the stuff that he listens to. And then when I play certain things to him, he picks it up and he digs it. And he'll listen to it. Like he loves Pantera. He loves stuff with melody. Anything that has a groove and melody that's heavy, he loves it. It's like, and so Pantera is his favorite band. And then he likes Megadeth, loves Metallica, the basics. And AC/DC.
Yeah.
I can go down the list what he loves, but it's like that right there. He really loves bands like that right now. And Pink Floyd too. And it's pretty cool for being a 13-year-old being into bands.
He's got a pretty badass dad to learn from, and all those experiences that you've had on the road. And that is, looking back, I'm sure that's you did that for what, about 10,
roughly about
years?
like what, 13 years, 13, 14 years off and on, it's tough. It's really, really tough to get out there and do it. You gotta work really hard at it. I mean, it's a long days, long nights. You have to realize, like, it's not every day is a party. Not every day you got it. It's like everybody's out drinking or like that. It's not a party every day. There, I mean, it's my job to make sure the show must go on and the band plays, and make sure they look good doing it. That's my ultimate goal, or our ultimate goal is just to make them look good, because that's what we're hired to do, and do the best job possible for them.
That's a beautiful
it's
thing,
tough
man.
because there's times that it's like you don't get any sleep at all. You get late loadouts, early load-ins, all this stuff. It's nuts, and you have to be prepared for anything it can throw at you. You never know what the venue is going to be like the next day. I mean, you've got those festivals that are awesome. They got the catering and everything, and then you got this friggin' this little hillbilly shack out in the middle of nowhere that's just like, how do they even get electricity out here? How do they even get a running water out here? Or anything like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been playing some pretty trippy things.
Any last things about Wayne Static that you could remember, you can mention? I loved what you had to say about how he was just a chill dude. And just to include it, I have a quote of the day every single episode.
Okay.
This is the latest in an episode. I'm bringing it up, but quote of the day for today was what Tony Campos answered to my twin brother Ryan when he asked Tony, just how was Wayne as a person, and Tony just said he was just a weird dude. He went into some different things, and I've seen there's a video on YouTube of him recording some tracks, Wayne, for the first record. And I think he was butt ass naked in the studio, and, with his hair up. And did he always? I mean,
yeah, Wayne didn't care who was. I've learned something about Wayne is when we traveled on tour doing the bus, anything like that. No matter what, at night, Wayne always had to get into his jammies and go to sleep. He didn't give a shit who was around. He don't care, dude. He dropped it all. I mean, like, and I'm like, he put his just talking to people like it's nothing. Just drop it all and just put on his PJs. Get his beanie on and get comfortable. And go to the front lounge. But he wouldn't give a shit. I don't know. Wayne was pretty trippy like that, man. It cracked me up. I've witnessed that more than I should have.
Favorite Static X songs, or what were some of his favorite Static X songs to play? I have to ask.
Oh geez, man.
I
think he loved playing Get to the Gone. He loved playing Love Dump. I think he was kind of like over a few songs, but you know what though? It happens to people. But at that time, man, I'd say he really loved playing Destroy All. They would open up with that off the Shadow Zone. That's a great track, man. It's really heavy, tuned down to A. Like, like a low A, which is really awesome. I always love that track. And like, even though, trippy thing about that record is like, that was Josh Freese that played drums on that album.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I guess they had like some I guess what Ken left at the time. I don't know anything about that. But then they got Nick, and Nick was a drummer that I knew when I was with them. And Nick's a really awesome dude too. I still keep in contact with him. Really, really awesome guy. Pretty much the whole band I still talk to. Except for, unfortunately, Wayne, who we all miss very, very much and very dearly.
God bless. R.I.P. Wayne Static. And Ryan and I, my twin brother, we didn't get into Static X until after his death. I I remember Black and White, the music video, when I was starting to get into heavier music. That video came on, and I was a big Terminator fan, so I saw the skeleton in the face of the Black and White, and I only had that song on my iPod for years. And then I don't know, I heard Push It once, and I was just like, that's our song. So every time Ryan and I are together, when we're blasting music, when we're blasting Static X, literally my mouth is watering right now, because the amount of beers that we murder to the Static X. And when we were side stage seeing them in London, Ontario, and Ryan's going to and from the bar bringing me shit. When it came time to meet the band and eventually get this signed, I was really trying to hold it together, because I just had to tell the guys, I've got like 10 beers in me, guys. I'm just trying to, and they all laughed. You know, they all got a kick out of that.
They're all way cool, man. I personally think that Zero is killing it. The guy is doing an amazing job representing who Wayne was, you know, and is, and he's doing an amazing job, like, you know, fronting the band and you know, carrying on the legacy. I personally hope, I really hope they keep going on. I want them to go on and make more tracks. This guy, he sounds like Wayne. He kills it. Does a great job, you know, and I like it. I like it. I hope they keep going. I think they need to keep going. It would just pay homage to Wayne, and it doesn't let their music die. It doesn't let it fade.
Absolutely agree there. They picked up me and Rye and some of my friends as very big fans, and I would love for them to keep going. But you and Eric, you guys gonna be watching the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Actually, I will be working, bro. I actually work for a large software company, so I have to actually monitor some stuff online to make sure everything's going good with, you know, during the whole thing, you know, like a lot of background stuff.
Sure. And what company is that? You're working from home doing that?
I work for just a multimedia company, a streaming service.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, it's just it just streams live television, everything. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, Ryan, he works for Citrix. Have you heard of Citrix before? Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Citrix. Yeah.
Citrix. Okay. Yeah, he's in Greece.
Yeah. I've been. I'm currently I'm at Hulu right now.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dude, I hope you have a good weekend, and thank you so much for just shooting the shit about hard rock and heavy metal and good vibes, man. I really appreciate the time.
Dude. Well, thanks, dude, for even bothering to ask me about this, dude. And, you know, believe me, if you ever want to call and shoot the shit about anything, give me a shout, dude. I'll talk your ear off, dude. I got so many. I mean, there's a lot of stories, but, you know, it's like I like to be able to tell as much as I can in great detail about how many fun things that we did stuff. And I can tell you some other fun stories sometime.
Off camera, I'm going to get you and Mike Lane, and we'll shoot the shit. That'd be a lot of fun. We have the occasional 5 hour Zooms that we just talk and, you know, have a drink or two, but
yeah, dude, definitely, man. I'm always available, dude. You can hit me up anytime. And bro, here, you want to, like, before I get here, like, you know, let me see if I can show you this here.
Hey, look at that gravestone over there.
People don't know, but if I can get it out. Have you seen the old BC Rich ads for Cold Chamber?
I have not. No.
Where Meegs used to play that bright green BC Rich Mockingbird, and he used it on the chamber music tour at Slipknot.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Oh, check that shit out.
Well, I mean, I can't, it's kind of hard for you to see because of that, but this is. Let me see if I can shut off my my filter so I can show you really quick.
Yeah, let's get a good look at that.
Real quick. Yeah. So he this is actually the guitar. So I'll if I can get my filter off. Hold on a second, bro. I know you're gonna edit all this stuff anyway, so it's all good, right?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Matches your shirt with the green.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get this. No. Sorry.
All right.
I don't know if I can get this thing to work, man. It has a filter in the background. I just can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no big, man.
No, but anyways, yeah, here's the chamber music guitar, and it has his he like kind of signed it and stuff. I'll send some pictures and show it to you, man.
Yeah, send me a picture of that.
Definitely when I can figure out this filter thing, so.
Right on. But dude, I finish off episodes. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay motherfucking heavy, man. Thanks again, dude. Have a good weekend, all right?
Thank you, bro. You too, man. Stay metal, brother.
Yeah.
Take care.
See ya. Yeah, you put